Well, that was the last bit of it. There I was in sunny California, shutting the door for the last time as owner of that old place. Closing time was just a signature away, and off to Florida I go. After finding my old bat and ball tucked away in the attic, I couldn't help but reminisce on those times when I was no longer the misfit on the field, and when catching the ball was a piece of cake. Whatever happened to that old field we used to play ball on? Was it still there? Was it destroyed like everything else from my childhood in this city? My curiosity led me to seek answers for myself. Who knew if I was ever going to get back there again? I wanted to see for myself what was up with that old field, so I jumped in my pickup. It was our field, our spot. It was Sandlot, the untold story. Oh yeah, I mean, we had it going on. Every day my boys and I would meet at the park and puff ourselves up. About what exactly, I honestly can't remember. But whatever it was, it glued us together. Our bond was tight-knit. Benny and I had our differences, but that didn't keep us from being best buds. Benny still had lots to teach, and I definitely had lots to learn. And you know I needed to, because then I had youngsters looking up to me for guidance. Mama always said a good leader was at first a good follower. I had to grow up before that even started making sense. Because at the end of the day, effort will always determine your grade, coupled with just the right attitude. That's another thing that Mama would say. Speaking of attitude, I remember us having somewhat of the right attitude. I mean, we rarely had any fights, rarely got into any trouble, and most of all, we ate our broccoli. But for us, it was all about baseball. Baseball was everything and every day. I missed my boys Squints, Yaya, and Kenny, but hey, with time, things change. It was new times, with a new crew and a new field. The Diamond. I remember days when we really did have to puff ourselves up. These were the days when having the right attitude seemed pointless. Your attitude can go south, and not just for the winter, if you get my drift. Anyhow, the right attitude is hard to maintain when you're constantly harassed and picked on and called out by other guys. Not just by any guy, but by the worst kind ever. A girl. Now, see, I was known for losing my cool, but for Benny it was rare. Actually never seen until Cindy moved into town. Now check this. Cindy was the little sister of the infamous Wendy Peppercorn, and at that time I didn't really understand what the big deal was between Benny and Cindy. That was until I was so well informed by little Kiler. Bottom line, it wasn't cool for Cindy, or anybody for that matter, to text the best hitter in town with threats to strike him out. The beast didn't get him that mad. Benny was acting a fool, and that wasn't cool. Turned out she was no ordinary female jock. She was actually the one girl able to back up all that junk she talked. That girl really could pitch. Boy, was I scared for him. His whole reputation was on the line. Not accepting her challenge meant he was a wimp. Getting struck out by her meant he could never swing his bat ever again in his life. And her crew wasn't bad either. They had the fastest runner in the neighborhood, and the best female catcher in the hood, too. We had to be there for him, else he was going to lose it. I mean, who wants to be challenged by a girl? Even worse, beaten by a girl. Benny thought about it and realized she could never strike him out, so we replied. This was his chance to prove it. Prove it himself. I mean, she was the best pitcher in town, but Benny was the best hitter, hands down. Later that night, Cindy got the word to be there. We all told her we'd be at the Diamond after dark, and if she wanted to prove anything, to be there. We were determined to whoop that behind in baseball. But would you believe it? She was already there. Not only that, she was ready to rumble. When she and her crew got word that we were coming to settle the score, they were amused. They actually thought that it was funny. They even slapped 5. Oh, it was on. It was on. But you know what they say, first things first. If we were to play them, Benny wanted to make sure we were ready. We spent the rest of that afternoon having batting practice, mainly Benny and I. Benny wanted to make sure that I was at least halfway ready to play, just in case they needed another hitter, who I secretly hoped wasn't me. Regardless of my horrible batting skills, we were pumped and ready for battle. There was no way for us to lose, and no chance of Cindy striking out Benny. So when we arrived at the Diamond, there we were, game planning like we had enough people to play a full game. It was mainly about my boy Benny knocking Cindy's pitches out of the park. They mocked and poked fun at us, and while they smacked 5s, we showed up all gangsta. It was so intense. We were like, yeah, what's up, homie? None of us seemed intimidated at all. They thought we were too chicken to show up. It was the perfect setup for Armageddon at the Diamond. That look on Benny's face was priceless. He was so focused, so ready. We were too, and so were Cindy and her crew. Then it was on. But then something strange happened. Out of nowhere, this guy shows up wearing a suit with a briefcase in hand and breaks up the fight. Now, you had to take him serious when he pulled out his cap. He knew we really wanted to play, so he decided he was going to call the game for us. We were going to play by his rules, and he was going to make them up as he went along. We played that bootleg baseball game like it was our last. Dang it, I still wished we had won that coin toss. That day ended with no losers. In fact, we all became good friends. Benny still didn't like Cindy, though. We played ball together from that day forward. Who knew that their team had all of our team's missing links? You see, you need 9. We were only 6 strong at best. Nevertheless, we played ball. Oh yeah, Cindy never did strike Benny out. He was just too good. But like me with hitting, she didn't give up trying to. So we formed our team. We worked on hitting and base stealing and pitching and overall team chemistry. I eventually started hitting better too. Life as we knew it changed. Baseball taught us a lot of things: friendship, trust, respect for female athletes, and so much more. We felt ready to take on anybody, anytime, anywhere. We were all winners. And being winners, it was inevitable that we get challenged again. I had just got my new haircut and couldn't seem to hear the end of it. Leading middle school-aged kids wasn't always easy. I made it, though, somehow. But it definitely had its pros. I mean, for one thing, there was plenty of candy and lots of energy to go around. These kids were tough, though. Most of the time we practiced without any gloves or helmets. I don't know if that's a pro, but let's roll with it. Boy, we sure look good out there without all that equipment, but by golly, we came up with a lot of sore heads and sore hands. I'll tell you that right now. We sure had a lot of fun. Oh yeah, as I mentioned, even after we all got together, we got challenged again. Yeah, there we were, minding our own business, when out of nowhere, these oversized jock bullies show up. Benny wasn't there that day, so I guess I was in charge. They showed up along with their coach, talking mess about we need to get off of their field. So their coach informs us that we were trespassing and that we needed to get to stepping. By any means necessary. Vacate. I mean, they weren't even using the diamond, and it didn't belong to them. So they walk up acting all big and bad and think they're going to just push us around. Well, we had news for them. We were not scared. We held ground and stood up to those guys. Then it was on. For real. When their coach saw we weren't scared or budging, he broke up the fight and said to his team, "Okay, let's play them off. You all know what to do." He organized a quick game, set the rules. They gave us first at-bat, and it was on. Yeah, they were big. Yeah, they were bullies. Some of us was what they wanted, and some of us was what they were gonna get. I remember I wasn't too sure about this one. Now, you know, we got our butts kicked, but that's not the point. Well, if Benny'd been there, maybe we would have done better. So now I was about to pull up to the field. It's just up the road. I was nervous, didn't know what to expect. I wondered how it looked, what it felt like. Was it even still there? Well, here I am finally, and here it is. A place so full of memories that I can hardly see it for what it really is, just a dusty, old, abandoned field. I can't relive my youth. I can only reminisce about it and see if this place holds the key to help me make a decision about the days I have lived. Shall I leave or shall I stay? Shall I sign that paper, sell my house, and never see this place and this town again? Shall I cross that line which cuts off the past and all its good and its bad times and replaces them with the unknowns of the future? Will bringing back the memory of standing at that home plate help me to decide? Someone once said God gave us memories that we might have roses in December. Well, I got roses, and this is December, no doubt about it. What to do? Here I am at the edge of an ending and the threshold of a beginning. All my friends from childhood have gone on to who knows what, but hopefully better things, and so must I think. I must go, remembering that memories are a way of holding on to the things you love, the things you are, and the things you never want to lose. Because after all, even though life lasts but for a short while, the memories it holds last forever.